Okay, test, test. I think we are ready to go live. Okay, let's go ahead. Alrighty. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in, I suppose, to M17 Live. I am Steve, KC1AWV, and I will be your host tonight for a little bit of fun that we're going to have with M17. Specifically tonight, we are going to take a look at M17 to DMR, which is a utility that allows you to connect a DMR Talkgroup to an M17 Reflector, and vice versa. So it'll work, one way and the other. So from DMR to M17, M17 to DMR. The other thing that we might get into today is obviously some beers. Got a nice beer here. Oh, there's a dent in the can. I'll go figure. I'm a little dented myself. But we might also get into setting up a DMR master server. I know it's not really M17 related, but it is related to the M17 to DMR stuff anyway. So it should be a lot of fun to get into that. So without further ado, let's get into M17 to DMR. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop down a tab from GitHub, and I'll show you the NoStar repo for MMDVM cross mode. Let's unsnap that, bring it down here, and take a look. So here is where the M17 to DMR software is. It is a fork from MMDVM cross mode from the original person that developed the software, but the M17 to DMR stuff has been added in by 88DP. He's the same developer that did DudeStar, DroidStar, and I don't know what he's calling the Apple version, but I think maybe it's called iOS Star. Of course, I joke, but anyway, so here, this is the M17 to DMR folder here inside the MMDVM fork of, or the NoStar fork of MMDVM CM. In here, it's all the code, all the wonderful things that are going on here. And before we do anything, we should really take a look at this README. This is the source code for M17 to DMR, based on the MMDVM software. This is actually a cross mode, the cross mode version of the software. And it basically tells you it goes from a DMR server to M17 to DMR and then to an M17 reflector. So it transcodes anything coming off of a DMR server into M17 and puts it into an M17 reflector, and it also works backwards, M17 reflector to DMR and then back into the DMR server. It seems to be pretty easy to set up, and I'll go through the whole process here, so long as the cats stay off the counter. They're trying to eat the ham. We made a ham earlier, and now the cats are getting into it, or at least they're trying to. The only caveat with doing MMDVM, M17 to DMR, is that down here at the bottom, it uses the MD380 vocoder, and it's basically a copy of the firmware that's on the MD380, but it's ARM based, so you can't run this on an x86 platform. So you can't run it on a regular desktop. You have to run it on an ARM based platform such as a Raspberry Pi. Now we have a Raspberry Pi, so we'll go ahead and get into that. There's a few other prerequisites. Obviously the MD380 vocoder we just talked about, IMBE vocoder, and MBE lib. So these three things have to be installed and running before M17 to DMR can be used. All right, so with that all in mind, let's go ahead and start having some fun. First, we're going to go ahead and copy this code or at least this link. And we'll get rid of you. And we'll go ahead and log into the Pi that is local to me. The one that we have, a Pi that we have prepared in advance, like they say on those cooking shows. All right, so here we are, Raspberry Pi. First thing that we got to do is make sure that Git is installed. So we're going to go to apt install Git. I'm going to do this in real time. All right, now we got Git. Let's go ahead and put in build essential and CMake. We're going to need CMake for MBElib, I believe. So let's go ahead and install those. It's always fun to sit here and watch people install stuff. Do, 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 do. It's pretty quick. It's not too bad. So, all right. So what I like to do when I am basically compiling code from Git is I actually make a folder in my root. It's called Git. So let's go cd git. I'm gonna go git clone and that stuff from NoStar. All right, so the other thing that we have to do is we need to grab, we need to grab these 3 extra dependencies that we need. So let's go ahead and open up this, grab a copy of that, git clone. It's an MD380 vocoder. Let's go ahead and grab the IMBE vocoder. Switch over git clone IMBE vocoder, and finally that last one, which is MBElib. Now all of these source codes are going to be very easy to compile. There's just one small difference with MBElib, and I'll show you. But so now we got all 3 dependencies, and we have the MMDVM CM code. There's no particular order that you have to do this, other than the dependencies have to be installed before M17 to DMR. So let's go ahead and just start with MD380 vocoder. Let's make sure we actually change into that. Take a look at what's going on there. Very simple. There's only 2 pieces of code, and a make file and a README. README is just basically says make and install. So let's go ahead and make. Downloads the firmware from DudeStar, and that's done. And then we do a sudo make install and sudo ld config. There. That completes MD380 vocoder. Let's do the IMBE one. It's the same setup process. A lot more stuff in there, but it's the same make install, and then ld config. Hey, get out of my beer, silly cat. All right, so let's sudo make install, sudo ld config. All right, now we're going to go to MBElib. Now this one compiles in a different way because you need CMake for this. I guess common practice is to make a directory for build, go into build, CMake, everything that's down there. And then make. fun part, waiting. I think I might be echoing. Let's turn down the volume a little bit. That way we're not getting background noise. This one takes a little bit longer, I guess. There we go. All right, so now we can do, oop, make sure we spell it right. And sudo ld config. Now we can go back into our Git folder. Now we can work on the M17 to DMR code. Again, this is going to be a very quick process. And this is going to be M17 to DMR. Here's all the code. This is a very easy make. This one's going to take a little bit longer because it's got, ooh, goodness, I caught my microphone on the chair. Yeah, this one's going to take a little bit longer because it's got all the extra ambi stuff in, and does this actually have the codec 2 stuff in it? No. It just has some ambi stuff. Oh, no, it does. Yeah, there it is, codec. Codec 2. Hey, and that's done. All right, so now there is no, well, as far as I know, there's no install process for this. But if we look, we now have an executable down here, M17 to DMR. There's another file in here, M17 to DMR.ini. That's our basically our configuration for the software. There's also a DMRIDs.dat file that we're going to need, and that contains all the call sign to DMR ID information that you're going to need for lookups. So when a DMR ID comes across, it'll know what the call sign is. So let's, I'm going to do this the way that I normally do things like DV switch and other things. So I'm going to make a directory, opt M17 to DMR. We're going to do copy M17 to DMR to opt M17 to DMR folder that we did. We're also going to do the M17 to DMR ini file. And because I like keeping, only because of previous experience with other softwares that do similar things like this, I'm going to make another folder. Lib DMR. We're going to copy DMRIDs.dat to var lib DMR. Oops, can't do that. Have to be a super user. And only because I'm a creature of habit, I'm going to make a new user for running the MMDVM stuff. So what we gotta do now is sudo change owner MMDVM M17 to DMR. And we can see that it's owned by the MMDVM user. Great. So now let's do this easy. Do a nano M17 to a DMR.ini. This is because we're not a super user. All right, so up here, this information, it's not 100% necessary. It depends on the network that you're attaching to. I believe that this is only sent to the DMR master. It's not sent to an M17 reflector because the M17 reflector doesn't really care. So you can change this information however you see fit. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and change that. Power, yeah, I'm not going to put in any of that. All right, so now we put in our call sign for the M17 side of things. You have an option of any letter following your call sign. It can be anything A through Z. This one just shows D as an example. I believe that D stood for dongle back in the day. But what we'll do is put in my call sign, and I'm going to call it G for gateway, I suppose. Your local port, you know, I'm not sure 100% as to what that does, because it's doing the DMR to M17 inside the program, so it doesn't really necessarily need that. But anyway, destination name, this is the reflector that you're going to be connecting to. I'm going to do M17 Charlie. It's important to have that space in between the call sign and the letter, or the module, I suppose. I guess you could call it that. It's similar to D-Star. If you ever messed around with D-Star and the way that the call signs are set up for that, you know, you put in your call sign, space, and then letter. So I think it has to be padded out to, well, no, it doesn't have to be padded out on M17. I guess it just looks for the space. All right, so destination name, we got our reflector in there. Destination address, let's go ahead and take a look at what destination that we're going to be bringing this to. So I'm going to go to the reflector that I'm going to be connecting to. Here's the IP address down here at the bottom. Let's just do a simple copy and paste. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Oh, no. I messed that up. I don't want it to be white. All right, there we go. Copy and paste that address. Destination port 17,000. Gain adjust, you don't really need to do anything with that. Daemon, we're not going to run this as a daemon just yet, and we're going to take a look at the debug information as we go along. All right, now here comes the fun part. Here's our DMR network information. Here you would put in your DMR ID. That's what I get for using the number pad. 3133349 is mine. Startup destination ID, this is going to be the talk group number that you are connecting to. 4001 is an XLX ID number, but we're going to do 1017 because that's the talk group number that I'm going to be using. Address of the server, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, shoot. Oh no. That's what I get for using the number pad. So I'll show you what that address is later on. All right, password debug, yep. All right, this is that DMR ID that we got. So we actually have to tell it where that file is properly. Oh, this is the other thing that I need to set up as well. Where the log information, where the log information goes to. So let's go ahead and set that to our log file information, or log file location rather. Save that. Let's make a I probably shouldn't be drinking and coding at the same time. Of course, I say coding. I'm not coding about anything. And we also have to create, or we have to change the owner. For that log file location, so var log M17 to DMR. Okay, I believe that we have everything set. Just going over it in my head, and I think everything is good. All right, so let's go ahead and take a gander at running this and see what happens. All right. Well, we were able to connect to our reflector just fine. We got the connection, we got an acknowledgement. Did we load up our DMR IDs? Yep, we got all the DMR IDs there. But we're not actually connected to any DMR network just yet, because we're going to have to set one of those up. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and set up a DMR network, because because I don't want to put myself onto 1017, because 1017 on TGIF is also linked to Alpha, or what we call the global group for M17. So there's a handful of reflectors that are connected on reflector module A, which is also piped into the TGIF Talkgroup 1017. Oh, yeah, see, we're not connecting to our DMR network. That's because it doesn't exist. Do I want to go ahead and connect to TGIF anyway? That is a good question. Bang, bang. Well, everybody say, hello, Ed. Ed's now watching. At least I got somebody here that's going to keep me entertained while I'm doing this. Do I want to create a DMR network? I mean, we did the simple thing, which was set up M17 to DMR. We compiled everything. We set up the configuration file, and we got it to run. Do I want to connect to TGIF, or do I want to build my own DMR network? See, now I'm trying to think, and it's not necessarily something that I really enjoy doing, is thinking. Thinking leads to other things, and you don't want to lead into other things. You know what? Let's just for the hell of it. Let's connect to 1017 on TGIF. So let's go to tgif.network and get our hotspot information for here. And I believe it's under the wiki. I believe it's under the wiki. Okay. Let's go to server status. Maybe that'll give us some information. Nope. See, I don't know where to find. Oh, you know what? We can just do it by DNS. What am I doing this for? Talk groups, server status. Yeah, that doesn't really help me. Last heard. Alright. Builds character. Oh, that's true. let's see. Are we going to find any hotspot information? I guess not. Alright, well, let's go back here and take a look at the ini file and restore this port number, because I believe that this port number also is for TGIF network. Let's try that. Alright, address, we will change this to TGIF network. Change that port number. I believe that password's good, so let's see if we can connect. We should see it connect pretty quickly. You know what, while we're doing that, I'm going to take a look and see if Google has anything. No, we're not getting anywhere with the network. Don't know what the port number is. Yeah, connection timed out. That means we are not doing too good. Self-care is broken. Nice. Alright, we are not making any progress there. Let's try that just for the heck of it. I mean, it could also be that password. I believe it's that password. Oh no. You know, we tried to make things work the way that we want them to, and it doesn't. I don't know if we can even Google for that information. TGIF DMR. Head up. Maybe. I'm trying to find it, and I'm not finding it. Six 62031. 62031. I mean, that's what I have set. I don't know why it's not taking my connection, because it should right off the bat. All the information on there is correct. Unless, of course, the computer doesn't know what TGIF network is, the IP address. I am a human being. Well, let's try putting in the IP address just for the hell of it. Which is 749112581. No, I don't think that's going to work. So I think we are going to have to go and build our own DMR network. So with that in mind, let us bring open a window here. And we're going to play around with a piece of software called FreeDMR. Open networking. All right, so what we're going to do with FreeDMR is we are going to go ahead. Ooh, what's that? Oh, look at that. That's pretty neat. I didn't even notice that that was there. What we're going to do is we're going to install FreeDMR onto a server that we have prepared in advance. I'm going to SSH into this server here, and while we're waiting for that to connect, I'm going to read this installation guide for FreeDMR. So we're going to need Python 3, pip 3, a working DMR setup. Well, I kind of have a working DMR setup for now. A working SQL or MariaDB database server, DB database, DB. And installing this is out of scope for this guide. Well, it's a good thing that I already know how to do that. More beer. So that seems to be pretty easy. What we're going to need to do is install these prereqs. So install Python 3 pip and MariaDB server. Let's go ahead and install all that. While that is installing, should be pretty quick, let us get a release from FreeDMR. No, oh no, I didn't want to download it. I want to save that link. No, I want to copy the link. Thank you. Copy the link, and let's go back into the wiki. Go back to the installation guide. All right, now we have the source code link copied. Now we don't actually have to build anything because this is just a set of Python scripts, which make things a whole lot easier. All right, so first we're going to get that file. We're going to untar it. We're going to move that and go in free DMR. All right, so we're going to need a Python 3, pip3, working DMR setup, working SQL or Maria database server. Now, because I've already installed this once, I'm going to make a change to this. See, we already installed Python 3 and Python 3 pip, but if I don't add that sudo in there, it's not going to hurt anything by trying to reinstall. It's just going to skip over it. But if I don't put in that sudo, it's going to come up with an error message, and I don't like seeing error messages. All right, so according to the instructions, first we need to run that shell script. And now it's going to download all the prerequisites for free DMR. All right, so we don't have our .local bin folder in our path, but if we go to profile, we'll see that this loads it if it exists. Because it didn't exist the first time we logged in, it didn't load it into path, but now that it exists, we have to log out and log back in. And we don't have to worry about that error message anymore. I hope I'm building enough character for you, Ed. All right, now we're back into this. So let's go to free DMR again. All right, so we did the install.sh script. Now we have to create a database. So, yep. All right, we're going to create a database. Let's call it free DMR, just for the hell of it. We're also going to need a user. Just reading this instructions over here. We're going to need a user. We're going to need a user, aren't we? We're also going to call it free DMR. Free DMR. Oop. Grant all privileges on free DMR to free DMR at localhost identified by free DMR. Just for the hell of it. This is just a test setup for now. So, all right, now we are going to need to exit out of here. We're going to do MySQL free DMR, use free DMR. All right, now we need to paste the contents of the repeaters.sql in from the source directory into the console. Alrighty, so we're going to need to come back over here. Let's go into this. It's under repeaters.sql. All right, we need to copy and paste this into here. Paste anyway. Done. All right. Simple enough. I suppose you could probably just, squirt it in there, but, copy and paste seems to be just fine. All right, so next paste in the following. Insert into repeaters. Into repeaters. Values. My call sign. Let's do it in caps. KC1AWV. Master. 1. I'm going to change this to 10,000 and 0. So these values that I'm putting in correlate to these pieces of configuration up here. So you can see that the first one was call sign. Mode is master. Enabled, 1, of course, we want it to be enabled. Repeat, 1, yes. Max peers, that's that number that I changed from 10,000. It says 1 over here. I put it at 10,000 so I can have maximum 10,000 people on. Export ambi. So yeah, basically these values that I'm inserting from this over here is what's being put in over here. That's how that correlates. So we are on IP. Leave that blank. Port is 54001. And password. That's going to be the password for the masters or people to get onto the master. So password 5-1 and deny 1. Deny 1. Permit all. Then we do another permit all. 10, 1, 1, blank, blank, 0. All right, now we have our configuration installed into the database. All right, edit configuration, make dir config, cp free DMR sample config to config free DMR.config, and then cp rules to config rules.py. There. All right. Now, using your favorite editor, edit the config free DMR config. Nano config. Oh, sorry about that. Free DMR config. All right. So, according to the instructions here, if you are using a database, it says, remember to configure and enable the MySQL section and leave the master system example set to enabled equals false. So we can just go ahead and come down here, enable that. User, we made free DMR. Password was free DMR. Database was free DMR. And the table was repeaters. All right, and let's see. Please leave the Open Bridge configuration disabled until you are familiar with how free DMR works. Simple enough. All right. So that's all taken care of. Now, it says we can start free DMR, so let's try it. Python 3 bridge master -c config free DMR.cfg -r config rules.py. Okay. We now have a running DMR server. Granted, it's logging to the console, but at least it will give us an idea of what we need to, or it gives us an idea of what we can do with this, or at least what we're looking at, you know, for any sort of, oh, hey, look, hey, my brother's hotspot logged into it. As you can see, we did do a little bit of a fun little test before I did this video. Okay, so now that we got that going, we can come back over here and edit our ini file to show dmr.m17.link. That port that we set up was 54001. Password's good. All that other stuff is good. Now let's see if we get anywhere with this. M17 connected. Do we see anything? Hey, logged into the master successfully. So if we switch back over to here, and there we are. We now are connected to our DMR master. We are connected to our M17 Reflector. If we come over here, KC1AWV-G is connected to M17 Module C and is also connected to our DMR master. Now you also saw that we have my brother's Pi-Star connected up to this DMR master that we're also connected to. So let's take a look over here to our DMR radio. Let's go ahead and turn around. Beep, beep, beep. And we are all set up with this on our DMR server with Pi-Star. Now we can also have a M17 connection. We just have to load up our program DudeStar. Let's bring this down here. Oh my goodness, I can't see anything on this. This is what happens when you have a .4K display and it loads up on the wrong screen. You'll just have to trust me. If you can't see this, just trust me. I have it set on M17 for the M17 Reflector, Module C. I have all this information correct. Let's go ahead and connect. And in a few seconds, there we are. You should also see KC1AWV D, I believe, connected. But the fun part, this is the fun part. We're going to start transmitting on DudeStar, and we should see that little DMR radio here. Let's move that camera down a little bit. We should see that DMR radio come to life. KC1AWV testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. And of course that little DMR radio did absolutely nothing. Probably because the Pi-Star is not set up for that top group. 168.1.139, I think? Come on. There we go. All right, so DMR time slot 2. Oh, it did work. KC1AWV testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, so we know that it's transmitting. It's just that this radio doesn't want to talk to it. So let's figure out what's going on here. 441. Let's check our oh, we have the wrong contact. All right, now that we have the correct contact programmed into the radio, let's try that again. KC1AWV testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Hey, that's awesome. We have DMR working on M17. Let's go ahead and try it the other way. Maybe you'll hear it through the Dude Star. This is KC1AWV testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. And there we are. Just like that, we have M17 to DMR working. We are piping a DMR Talkgroup from, well, our own DMR network. It'll attach directly to any DMR network. It'll attach to TGIF, Brandmeister, basically anything that you can plug a hotspot into. DMR to M17 will connect to it, and then pipe all that into a M17 reflector. Then also take, anything from an M17 reflector, pipe it into a DMR network. I say that this is a success. This is the first for M17 Live, something that actually worked. So for those asking if there's any actual use of this M17 to DMR software currently in use, there is. Right now, like I said earlier in the video, the TGIF network Talkgroup 1017 is currently connected to M17 Global, which is the A reflector for a handful of reflectors that are out there across the world. So there's, I think, if we actually take a look at M17 reflector, we can see peers. We can see that there's 10 peers. So we got 9 that are connected to the A module. And this group is what we call the global group. This one right here, M17659, that's Russ, K5TUX. Yes, K5TUX. That's his reflector, and he's connected on module C for when we do our nets. But as you can see, these are our links. Yeah, we have M17 going to DMR. This is it's the new microphone. It's the new microphone, and the fact that I'm drinking more beer. Here's the beer that I'm drinking. Let's move this radio out of the way. Let's get that out of the way here. We have. Can I get it into frame? Machine, which is a Czech Pils from the Bunker Brewing Company up in Maine, Portland actually. Not a sponsor, they just make really good beer, and I like local beers. This was a half beer project. I'm only halfway through this beer. It was so easy to do, and so quick actually too. How long have I been doing this? An hour? Wow. Not even an hour. Because I started it, I don't know, about 10-15 minutes before the actual stream started, and we have, well, we're an hour in, and we got in an hour. You're learning to be a good YouTuber. Thanks. It's yeah, so we did this in an hour. So in an hour we were able to create our own DMR network and connect a M17 Reflector to that DMR network and be able to transcode between DMR and M17. So this is a pretty good success, and it's only 8:30. I honestly don't know what I want to do now because yeah, we've covered everything that I wanted to cover. All right, so well, with that, I'll say 73 for now, and hopefully, you know, the next time that I do one of these live streams, we'll do something a bit more interesting. For those that are watching this after the live stream, you know, if you come in and chat with us, you know, maybe it'll give us give me at least a better idea of what you know, you guys want to watch and listen to, and instead of just me drinking a beer and trying to set up networks. Cool. I honestly, I didn't realize that this would be such a success. So I have no idea where I'm going to go with this. I think I should just stop, to be honest with you guys. So thanks for watching. Check out the M17 project website at m17project.org. You can join us on IRC, Discord, and Matrix. We have presences all there, on all three, and you know, they're all linked up together. So, you know, whichever your preference is, just go ahead and join up, and you can talk with the M17 team. You can also talk with the people that are working on OpenRTX. They're usually hanging around. And yeah, with that, I'll go ahead. I will probably stumble over my words because I don't know what I'm going to be doing, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, so again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down in the little question and comment section, or join us on any of our platforms that we have chat going on. So I wish everyone a wonderful night. Plug the net. All right, yeah. I'll go ahead and also say, join us on Fridays at 1700 UTC on the M17 Charlie, M17 Reflector Charlie module, or through the TGIF network talk group 1017 for our weekly net on Fridays, where the M17 team hop on, and anybody that has questions and comments or updates as far as the M17 project is concerned, we have a net that people can join and have a chat with us if that seems like something that you guys want to do. So I think that covers all the bases. Website, follow us on Twitter, I suppose, and join us on chat, and join us for our net. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead, leave them below, and you know, we'll get back to you. I'll say 73 for now, and everyone have a wonderful night. This is KC1AWV, and I'm out.